Good morning, guys. JJR says, Don, your mic is muted. Thank you for that reminder. Thank you. I was muted. I was trying to speak to you guys, and you guys basically missed everything that you needed to hear today. So anyways, continuing on. Good morning. First of all, how is the screen here? Should be completely fixed in terms of what you guys saw with blurriness, and I fixed the lines and everything. I switched back to just the Chrome, to the web client, instead of using the TradingView app, because again, it's the TradingView app itself that's not really optimized for the larger screen, and it wasn't through the stream. It was actually it was on my screen. It was actually on my end, and so you were just getting it reciprocated from what I saw on my monitor. So it should be better now. You guys can let me know. Either way, let's get things underway here. Futures opening higher off of yesterday's sort of volatile day, right? Pullback, sort of not a full whipsaw back up, but we melted back up, closed pretty reasonably well. We bought on a lot of fear. It paid off, right? Paid off here. We do have NASDAQ leading, so due to volatility, we always talk about when the market's a little bit more volatile, tech will do better. It certainly is, up over 0.5%. The rest of the indices all climbing. Russell, 37 basis points, S&P 33. Pretty good numbers. So taking a look just in terms of the overall picture again, with macros, the dollar, we've been talking about, continues to sort of trend down here. In terms of its impact, again, we've talked about the risk-on factor, where the dollar was moving up, a lot of it converting over to U.S. Currency for U.S. equities, and then the move down, which also correlates to a risk-on behavior for the value market itself. With, of course, if the dollar is going down, equities are going up generally. And so we've seen that. It's not really giving us much action at all, so not something we need to really think about today whatsoever. So we're going to keep that under wraps. Volatility itself, we talked about yesterday that it really did not make a move that was going to signal that the price was going to continue to fall, or that volatility would continue, then causing a price event. And this is why even if you look at the derivative itself, we noticed that price was not really moving into a position that would maybe signal some warnings, right? Where we would use this value and look at it and say, okay, we can't be buying on fear here because there's a little bit too much volatility, and this might actually push us down to a level that we can't control, and that at that point we don't really know, right? We had clarity still yesterday, so this move here, albeit at the moment maybe significant comparatively to day on an intraday scale, it'd be significant, but in terms of the overall trend and what we talk about in terms of always being aware of where we are, what is our trend, what is the path we're on, what is the overall bias, does this price movement overtake that overall bias? These sort of questions that we ask ourselves when price is moving. We like to buy on fear. We like to buy on pullbacks, red days or buy days. This at no point gave us that pause of, okay, I don't know if we can do something here. Oh no, we might need to sell everything. These type of things did not come up. Now, retail and some other traders might actually get a little worried here. And certainly on social media and stuff, we can always see it. We joke about it a lot. You get this sort of price movement, and the crash word comes out. The not even realizing that we were on this uptrend 8 days in a row, right? They only just figured that out, right? So a lot of times this wakes up some traders, gets people going. Now they're like, oh, wow, today's such a great opportunity. Wow, I didn't even realize how well the market was trading to the upside. We might be able to get some little bit of bit off this, which is, again, we buy on fear because that next day, what happens the next day after a day like this? Well, geez, I got a lot of points I can pick up here. It's hard to continue to put a lot of points on when you're trading, trending to the upside every single day. It's a lot easier once you get that candle out of the way, right? We talk about consolidating, why that's good for a healthy price movement, because the consolidation allows for price to pick up new buyers, to sort of allow rotations, transition, and continue. And first of all, the biggest thing here is, again, we never broke a trend. And so whether this was 2%, 3%, the idea is that we never broke this trend here that we closed within. And that's really the biggest rule that we use, is based on our levels. Did a support break? Did the trend line support break? If those do not come into the situation, then almost never are we looking at this as sort of a situation where a trend might change. Now, it could still change today, but usually this happens where you've got one candle and you need a second candle of confirmation. If this is a bearish candle here, then today we need to see not just a red candle, but an actual bearish day where you get a lower low here, maybe breaking a trend here. Not until then do we actually change our bias or change the way that we are trading currently, because more times than not, your trend is going to continue. This is not, you can't start the day off sort of like yesterday. You can't go, well, this is the top because of the way I see the price action today. We usually talk about the 2 daily candles, where you have a daily candle pulling into support, and that's where we want to buy on that next daily candle on the support to the upside, right? It's the same with reversals. We like to see 2 daily candles. If the first one didn't break down a trend, then we like to see the second daily candle actually get a lower low and or put enough points on that it's relative to the trend that we need to exit. So again, everything is still looking very good for the upside. Volatility has remained very low considering everything that we see here. So we continue. The only thing to mention here is that tech did get a little bit of a boost. Tech, of course, did have a different situation over here, right? It was a little different here. We had 2 converging levels of supply. Yeah, it made a little bit of a push down. Again, higher spread, but never really in a moment, in a situation where this was not going to hold, right? If we look at just an individual chart, something like Apple here, there's some chances here that this is breaking down, and this is where I really started. This move, when you see this by itself, is certainly a move that you get a little bit of a pause on, right? You see that price is sort of trading in this bear flag sort of looking chart, which again, you can't use this by itself. And that's why we talk about the sectors as a whole and then into its own indice, because this is backed up by the other mega caps. You have other charts that are doing very well, trending up, and you know they're going to converge back to one another's sort of path, trend back towards one way. This is a good example of, if this chart ends up heading towards the upside, then this is a good pickup. Right now, not so much. It's up 13 basis points in pre-market. Again, we need to see price movement, or else this is going to consolidate, and everything you do see here will be breaking this trend, and price will be consolidating in here. We've made a significant move. Price will consolidate. It's just when and where. Based on this trend, you could be trending for a while, and we're never going to guess when that trend ends. We're going to go with the highest probability is that this trend continues. So keep these ideas in mind, and keep in mind that tech is doing a little bit of extra because of an implied move in terms of volatility. This is the value chart, our favorite small cap area. We're opening back up on basically right on the trend line. So we're going to get some decisions from open whether you're going bid off the support or not. We started bid off 2 days ago on the support. It was a great trading day over here. All we need to see is that this trend's holding. If you hold the trend today, then I think everything from tomorrow signals that this is consolidating this move with one candle. That was it. It took 1 day to consolidate some of this move, which really puts us on a bullish path, right? And I talked about how when you entered this new trend and this channel up here, this is a very bullish sign, and you've really entered a new bullish phase, right? It's not just this bullish trend that you're on. This is a whole new bullish phase that you're putting significant points on. This was our first test of that, right? This was our first test of that trend. And today, really this week, right? Today and tomorrow is going to confirm whether or not this is true, because if it is and it holds this and continues, it's going to be very difficult to break this down. Even when you get a consolidation, The consolidation will be something along these lines if we do hold this trend, right? Where we've entered, we pulled back, and then price is going to make some sort of move up here before then it consolidates back into the trend line, right? You know it's going to make a larger move this way so that it can consolidate back towards the trend, right? Or whether or not we use this as our level, this zone, this whole trend zone, we'll need to see, and we're going to get confirmation this week. Think about today. You had yesterday, you had a bit of a bearish candle across the market, right? Bearish candle across the market. Most charts have this same candle. Today, you could get a day where you're going to be green on the day, have a higher low, but you might be having an inside bar day, right? An inside day where we talked about yesterday, you might be a little flat today. There might be some waiting, some further the idea of consolidating, which is just maybe more of a tightening today. You just tighten flat. You're sitting on support on a trend. Most charts have this. With the realization that tomorrow being Friday, extra volume. We talk about green Fridays. We talk about Fridays being bid. If you have a plan of buying tomorrow, maybe you wait today, right? So we could see that in the market. So we're going to, right off the bat, if we start off and all of those candles are just sort of flat, right? We are going to use that as an understanding of, okay, there's some waiting here. Likely not much is going to happen. Maybe a pullback lunge back into the trend line support based on where we're opening, and likely waiting for tomorrow, right? And so we want to sort of insert in terms of how focused we need to be and how much we need to care about price action. A lot of it's going to be based off of that, how much volume, how much activity is actually out there. Because you might get a situation where based on this candle, you're gonna hang out. You're going to chill here for a moment, right? You don't need to go put a ton of points on. I would say that's more likely. Again, we're going to react to price. No matter what price is going to give to us, we are going to react. Let's jump into some pre-market numbers. Of course, we have a bunch of earnings continuing, putting charts in all kinds of different places. With our strategy and method, we don't really care about earnings unless you're using an earnings run-up strategy and you're taking profit right before earnings. We do not care. We trade it based on the price action, the levels based on transitioning, whether it's earnings the next day or not. We don't think about IV crushes and all these different things that a bunch of YouTubers that have no idea what that even is will tell you some Wikipedia definition. That's not the case here. Almost none of these earnings are based off of the actual fundamentals. It's actually just based off of wherever the price is and based on the trends, and you can actually see this almost every single time. These are some good examples here from earnings yesterday with these charts. Sono, is this chart bullish? Has it been trending to the upside? Yes. Was there earnings? Yes. What happens on earnings? There's more volume. If that chart is trending to the upside in bullish and there's extra volume, which side of the equation is that volume going to go to? Well, probably the buy side because it's bullish and trending up. Okay, great. Put that extra volume onto the buy side. Where's price now? Up 18% pre-market. Z. Is Z bullish in a trending chart? Yeah, it's in the OG trend line. It's in the OG channel here, trending. Has it been trending up recently? Is it bullish? Yes. Earnings? Yes. Extra volume because of earnings? Yes. Which side of the equation is that volume going to go on? The buy side. Wow, it's up 13.5%. Whether it's earnings or not, you're going to push this position because you never got a reversal. You never broke the trend. It's the same story as always. Now, there are charts, of course, that have gapped down from earnings. I'm guessing on all those charts, and you guys can find them yourselves, were those charts trending bullish? We know that earnings don't matter right now, guys. We know. It's fun because of the extra volume, the extra little bit of IV pushed in there, but we know that it's all about what's going on with price and which side of the equation that extra volume goes to, right? Mega caps, do you care how many iPhones Apple sold this quarter? I don't think anyone really cares. Keep these things in mind because, again, as we go through them, it's fun and entertaining to look at earnings, right? But it should not be affecting your judgments when you're making trades. You should not be exiting trades because there's earnings. And here's one thing I want to put into emphasis, because we talk about this a lot. And again, this is part of our strategy. We're not news-based traders. We don't take headlines. And the story idea I always talk about is that I read a bunch of articles in news, right? I read Wall Street Journal, Economist, Financial Times. I have a great time. What you don't do is you read a bunch of these things and you start to form an opinion and you create a story. You create a story out of all these articles. And then as soon as you start to talk to somebody and you go, well, I think that based on this, and you're doing due diligence, right? Well, I think that, based off of this, Apple is going to be probably having a better quarter here, and based off of these other things, it's now doing an EV thing, and it's most likely going to beat earnings, that I bet that price is going to go. When you start doing that and you start telling yourself a story, or, oh, this is actually going to be entering a new thing. They're going to be releasing a new thing because I read this article, and based off of this other headline, this should mean that there's going to be a lot of... when you start doing that, right? First of all, everyone's got that information. You're not the only one that saw that. Everyone else saw it, right? And you're trying to tell yourself a story of why you should be in a position. That story you're telling yourself has nothing to do with what is actually happening with the price. The price could do anything, right? Doesn't matter what story you form. That's just your own opinion. Guess what? We don't use our own opinion for trading. We go off of price. We judge every candle and every trend as is. I don't form an opinion about what I think about the tech over here. We know things that are true. Tech during volatility trades a little bit higher. Great. Is this a bearish candle? Yes. Is this a bullish trend? Yes. Do I care about all these other things? No. Do I care about a story? Let's take a look at a chart. Z. How many clicks did Z get? How many houses are on Z? What about right now? It's COVID. What happened during COVID? If we go to the market, shouldn't there be less? Wait, isn't the economy down? I think that based off of COVID deaths and the amount of people that are dying and getting sick, that the market should be down because the economy is doing worse. What happened here then? Where is your story now? Right? All these things. So again, earnings is very similar. You start to tell yourself a story of oh, I bet they're going to sell more refrigerators. So based on that and the fact that I like the refrigerator, and I think with the new refrigeration technology that the clean water that comes out of the refrigerator is definitely going to make the price go up in the future, and everyone's going to like that. And I think I'm the only one that sees that, so I'm going to buy now. And then it gaps down and you're like, well, guess what? They're wrong, and based off of the headlines I read, I'm right. So I'm going to bag hold this position, right? Stop doing that shit. Just stop. Anyway, we have some interesting other pre-market moves. GNMK is probably one of the larger positions that people have here. We talked about this move yesterday, coming off the big day, that one of the 29 large from the other day, right, that we'd like to talk about. This is up 12.5%. Again, when this happens, it doesn't need to happen. And when it happens, we don't go, oh. Again, it's a part of the price move. It could have just continued from here and continued trending up. When you get the gift of gaps or any of these things, we don't react to it in sort of an emotional way, try to figure out what's the news event or anything like that. Keeping it simple with the price move itself. What does it mean in terms of this gap? You're now making a decision up here at 19. Price is up here at 19. You're likely going to be trading to the trend line here, right? You're continuing the trend. You start to make a decision here. Now, whether or not you're transitioning a position like this, it's to be seen. Probably not, right? You don't have a level yet. So when we talk about transitioning, you should only really be transitioning when there's a level involved. Not just, even if something gaps up 30%, it really needs to be close to a level, because that's changing really what's happening on the chart. That's when you see a significant shift. A lot of the times, if you're in marches from over here on any chart, say this is any chart, if you haven't changed a level of supply, a trend, resistance level or anything like that, you're not really changing up sort of anything behind the scenes on the options, right? Even if you're in let's say this is any chart, right? Any chart. This is like you're in like 15 striked calls that are in Marches. You're probably still picking up very close to the amount of an exponential that you would from new contracts from up here. Now, of course, depending on how you're going to push that into the future, right? If this chart makes another 20%, well, of course, you're going to make more on something at, 19 or something like that, right? Higher exponential in the 19s. So some of these, that's where it starts to come in of you transition based on how much further you think you can push the position. And that's where your risk reward idea comes in. But usually you cannot make that decision unless you have a level and a trend. If this trend line was over here, well, now you have an understanding of the trajectory of where price could go. Up here, all you know is that you have resistance up here. So this is a good example of a chart that you likely do nothing here. You just continue. When the price reverses, then okay, then you'll take profit, right? That's it. So I think there's a lot of times when that's the case, and you're going to remember that because more times than not, you don't need to be doing anything, right? Open, up 4% from yesterday. We talked about the support buy yesterday. There's two different ways you could have played this chart. Was you bought it open, and I know the ticker name is open, but just you could have bought it open. That reversal came. You could have got stopped out, or if depending on your expirations, you could have you stayed in that position. Support buy was really the best. And in terms of where you are now, well, we're up 4%. This chart's continuing to go. It's a very nice chart. Looks like you should be able to get some, there is some market interaction here, but this is really on its own velocity-driven chart, right? A lot of these charts are not getting affected by the market, other than to the downside because of demand. We talked about some of the meme economy plays coming back into favor. Talked about Bed Bath & Beyond, AMC. The triple BY is up 5% here. Certainly can make a move very quickly. And I talked about this yesterday, that this move can happen very quickly. And again, it's a gamma squeeze where we're coming into Friday. All of these have a lot of contracts that expire come Friday. And that's the closer to expiration, and the more contracts that are near that that upcoming expiration are going to cause that gamma squeeze to happen quicker. And so keep this in mind for this chart, in the AMC chart, and the other meme economy charts, of course, coming into Friday are going to get a little bit of a pop. And then based on if the majority of contracts are in the money or not, then the underlying is going to move based on that. This and AMC are the two charts that I would say have the best chance of getting squeezed. It's difficult to now get into the position if you didn't get in yesterday. AMC, you still have a chance today. If there's going to be any action here, for instance, it's opening lower. If it comes back above this level, then I'm going to use that idea for a trade going into tomorrow. But again, that other chart again is already above its support that you need. This is the same idea. You could get a squeeze going into tomorrow, but you need to probably see it from open. Otherwise, all that's happening is you have a bunch of bag holders in supply. It's not going to be a good time in there. So don't get too fruity. Don't get too fruity. Peloton level is really this trend. There is this horizontal that's coming through here across. Let me fix this up. There is the horizontal coming across here. Let me just throw that in there. In terms of this chart, this is a ton of supply. Look at these candles. What is that spread? I mean, I'm not really sure what that spread is. I would say that this is going to trade through this channel here. I think this is getting a little bit of market, market sort of woos in there from yesterday. It was going to keep trending, and then the market sort of pulls back a bit. It's holding. So I'll tell you what, it's certainly good for the upside. It's good for the upside. It is a little strange with the trends in here. You, of course, can always push this trend out, right? You're consolidating. You can always push the trend line out. There's nothing wrong with that. We've done it multiple times. It will keep trending. This, I think it's good for the upside, right? You have a very bullish chart. You consolidate sort of in a very similar fashion. If you draw this trend line from here to here, you're starting to get into some ideas of, okay, if it breaks through here, then okay, we're getting pretty bullish. This is holding. Hard to say. in terms of where it is, 144.98, it's still right there. You wait for the break on this chart, right? This COVID winter charts, they make themselves obvious when they're breaking. Here's a good example. This candle in here, it's pretty clear. If you look on intraday chart, this chart from the open, this is a from the open chart. You open that chart, 9:30 hits. If those bids are there, it's obvious, right? You go on like a 5-minute chart even, right? The sizing of these candles, look at the sizing here. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious when price is going to be going. If you, even on a 15 minutes, I mean, let's be honest, you should be using a 15 minute. But if you look at this price action, it's going to tell you when it's getting out of the supply, right? It's going to tell you when it's getting out of the supply. Just wait. You can wait. You can miss a percent, right? You can miss a percent for the upside. These are large candles. We talked about it over here with Etsy. You're going to see them move together. We know what it looks like. Okay, now you're at 146.20. Now you're back in the trend line. So we'll see what this looks like. And in terms of these positions, I mean, these are not really, they're on the radar, but you know you need to make a bigger move. I'm not going to jump in here. Look at the price action. It's been doing this. It's more likely to continue than not. Once it breaks out, perfect. I'll go take a trade, right? Same with like Etsy. Over here, Etsy is just trading in the channel here. These are great trades over here, right? Do I want to take a trade here? Well, it's still consolidating this move, so definitely not. I'll know when it's moving, of course. Otherwise, no, right? There's a couple other things before we jump in here. Charts like this, right? Like NVIDIA, right? Don't jinx yourself on some of these moves, right? We had the take profit day 2 days ago. You get something like that today, continuation. These type of things, these are great trades. And I think you want to really be thinking about how much potential upside you have. And a big thing, again, is don't cut your legs off. If you're in really short-term positions, like calls, like if somehow you still have Februaries, like maybe yesterday, on that whipsaw, you got Februaries and you pushed it overnight, and they look great, right? You're up like 100%. Think about transitioning those to Marches, because again, you have a long way to go on some of these charts, and you want to be able to continue to push those, right? Continue to push your positions. Don't be like, well, we're certainly going to consolidate now. Based on everything I've seen, we're going to consolidate. That's not true. We have not seen anything that signals that this trend that we're on is going to stop. Right, we're in all-time highs. There is no supply other than the usual price does need to consolidate. When, where, being overbought, those are not things that we have. Right, we don't have any sort of signal. So keep pushing, keep looking to obviously push those expirations out. I think if you do look at the option chains, you are seeing better prices and better percent gains the further you're pushing expirations out right now, which signals to me that speculators are all pushing for even higher prices come March, April, right? So there's especially when you start to compare. Maybe we'll do it at close because we were trying to do it. I was trying to show you guys on like the Chewy chart yesterday and maybe on the Twitter chart, but it's hard to show. Maybe we'll look at some of those options and you can see the price differences based on Greeks and everything, that those Marches and now Aprils are getting higher percents than the Marches. These type of things, you start to see that and you know that, okay, maybe we're not consolidating, right? We will see. Holding the level here. Don't see much price movement coming through. Let's see. Let me fix up this for you guys. That Sono chart holding. So again, should be a little bit slower day, right? Everyone's going to be a little anxious from yesterday. Now, there was a lot of fear buying, right? There was a lot of fear buying. Usually if you just bought a lot yesterday and we had already been buying on the trend before, you're not going to have many more buyers. Over the weekend, of course. You want to buy more over the weekend, of course. So today could be a bit of a stop day. And again, you had a lot of bearish candles, so we do need to digest that move, right? You're going to get some candles in here that you're going to get swinging back and forth in that level, right? It's going to be testing some of those. if you have charts that have support and resistance up at this level, trend or horizontal, it's going to be testing those, right? Because you want to test how strong are you in this area, where do you have buyers. Keep an eye on volatility, right? Now, those charts that we saw with gaps are holding those levels, it looks, right? Those look pretty good. We'll keep pushing. Z, for instance, right? What are you doing on Z? Are you just getting out of that position? Probably not, right? I think when you think about some of those charts, yes, if there's an opportunity to take home some of the profit there, then of course you're going to take it. It depends on your timeline, right? What you should be asking yourself is, am I willing to wait 2 days for Z to maybe lose 1% or 2% to then get another 5-6% on top of that come Monday, right? These type of questions, you gotta make the answer. You gotta make the decision now whether you're gonna be willing to hold over a few days of consolidating, right? Off of these big moves, you guys should know by now that you should have already asked these questions, right? You plan by saying, okay, if there's a gap up today, am I going to take profit, or am I going to be willing to hold through maybe a little bit of a pullback from that, right? Maybe I lose 5% off the top. These type of questions are important, right? Also should be dictating where you're putting your options, right? Not buying too short term, not buying too out of the money. Very stable day so far. Looks very good. Should allow us to get some breakout trades here today. Some breakout trades today should be on the menu. GNMK up 28% now. Again, good example of a chart to keep pushing. Are we worried about this gap up? No. We're not in the gap worrying situation. Now, we did come into the trend line here. So we turned from this transition idea very quickly to maybe not transitioning whatsoever to, okay, you got to make some decisions up here, right? Let you guys figure that one. Chris, again, our name charts are doing very well. AMKR, semis again, continuing. In terms of the semiconductor space, again, I would say they're behind as a whole, so keep that in mind. MWK continues up on this trend line. It's a great chart, continues. Let's see if we can get through some of these charts. GPRE from yesterday's charts looks very good. That looks very good. These, I mean, I'm guessing you guys like the look of these charts. These bottom wedges, I posted 2 yesterday, and this is, let's be honest, that's a bullish chart right there, right? That's a bullish chart right there. That's putting some significant points on. KC continues. VRT continues. Let's see, TCON looking to continue. OSTK, right? A chart like OSTK from yesterday, today's gonna be a good candle for you to understand where exactly you're going, what's your timing, right? MU, Brian mentions MU, of course, semis again, continuing that move. Pen, possible, most likely coming into the trend line though. BLDP, that big move from yesterday, probably coming into the trend, possible fear buy at the trend line or at this 33.63. We'll keep that in mind. Going to keep those in mind. In terms of the bio play, I would say, again, like we've been talking about, those are short terms. Those bio plays are short term. And what you're looking to do is really, you get the pop in one, you take profit and look to enter another, right? They are those convergence type of charts where they're flows based. Flows go from one bio to another, right? It's sort of risk-based trading of spreading risk by staying in the same sector. Semis kind of do it too, right? We sort of see it in semiconductors as well. Let's see. It looks like we're going to be just holding this level here, getting that flat 15. Going to be looking for a little bit of where's retail today. Get an idea of what are they thinking for tomorrow, right? We want to know where prices can be tomorrow, not so much where it is right now. What are they going to be buying? See PRPL move. Again, travel. This travel idea, where's travel going to be Monday? Is this your opportunity on some of these charts if you're not in them to be getting ready for a move come next week? These are tough questions. These are tough trades. This trade has continued to squeeze into this supply. This is ready to be pushed to the upside. All of these are ready to be pushed to the upside. C-Trader says Yeti didn't sell enough vaccine coolers. It does not look like it. It does not look like it. That push up into this level, though. Look at this chart. Interesting moves over there. Looks like an Algo Fiesta. Some of these charts in here, a lot of these break-evens. Again, you're going to have a lot of... Look at all the break-evens. That's like 300, 400 break-even charts right there. See, retail stores. Look at that Macy's move, right? Does that look like a move? You let me know. Does that look like a move? We'll see. I guess we'll see. Do we think retail stores are going to make moves? We do expect it, and they've been a little slow. This tightening has been a little too much tightening. Sort of like that AAL chart we just looked at, right? A little bit too much tightening. If it continues to tighten, it's most likely going to the upside, right? Most likely going to the upside. Now, save. We transitioned yesterday. What did you do today? Well, you probably bought more like the rest of us because based on everything we see, there's no reason to doubt these moves. We took profit. We're ready to transition. You should now be ready to push out for a longer move because there's no reason to doubt a retracement coming. We've already retraced a significant amount, about halfway through this COVID move. There's no reason to be doubting any of these trends continuing, right? JGR mentioned CVE, another great chart from yesterday, I would say. Again, I know continuation patterns and everything else are a lot easier to see. It's a lot more, it's not so much dynamic and difficult. It's straightforward. You see the candle, you see the level, yes or no, yes, great, that's it. See ya. Energy, of course, yesterday had a great day. Talked about that. That market pullback led to a 2% rally in energy, which doesn't make sense, right? Are we breaking down if energy's up 2% at the low? After a 1% pullback in the market as an average, energy was up 2%. Let's just be honest. Are we breaking down? Probably not if energy, the most defensive and sort of slowest tank moving sector out there is doing fine, then probably not. AMD on top of this trend line, it's going to be very interesting. Again, this chart is so far behind. It's actually funny how far behind this chart is comparably in terms of the trend that we've seen. Now, of course, AMD rallied a lot earlier. Sure. We haven't touched all-time highs on AMD for a while. This is a retail favorite. If you can get some retail to jump in here, you might be able to get some momentum going. You get some contracts being bought, you might be able to get some movement coming as well, right? SLQT continues. TCOM, again, very nice chart over here. Very nice chart over here. Again, that intermediary travel, Expedia as well. Keep these charts in mind. These are straightforward charts that you don't need to be killing yourself over. These option chains are a little easier if you're sort of in the option chain with a few other people. Not too much. Chewy from yesterday. Again, I talked about it. Let's see if the move. I wanted to show you guys the option chain here. Maybe we'll be able to do it today. There was nothing there that could really use. It's just the chart was basically the same. I was hoping the chart was going to be a little different and show you it's a little more elevated. It's holding this level here, so it's more technical on the underlying chart for now, right? VRM continues. Again, retail stores. TPR continuing. Looks like a nice pop there. Retail stores. Wow. Who would have thought? Let's see. Oh boy, that travel move is building. It's building more. Banks continue. That defense chart. Get ready for this one. This chart has been beat to hell. Absolutely beaten. What happened to all those war vibes? Remember like a year ago, or right coming out of COVID, we were talking about going to war with China and everything else. Funny how all the aerospace and defense tickers, right, got beat down so much and haven't moved. Interesting how that works. That story of, remember how everyone was telling stories of, oh, well, due to all the possibilities of going to war and stuff, the military is going to be buying more tanks and planes and everything else. So these tickers are going to go up. Remember all those like fear vibes? Why didn't this chart ever go up then? What happened? What happened then? If those stories are true and everyone thinks that, then why is the price down so much? Now, do we need those things to be true for price to break out here? No, it's all technical. If it breaks through the level, it's going to break through because guess what? When it does, you've got like 100% to gain, right? Keep those in mind. RPAI, again, those bottom wedges from yesterday. Look at that chart. I know there's no way you can't like this chart. There's no way. Even if you don't know what a pattern is or what a chart is, you can't tell me that doesn't look good. It's just, sticking out of there like a rocket, right? Keep these charts in mind. Expedia, again, these intermediary travels. If these are leading, Expedia, the trip, if this is leading, don't you think travel's going to get a little bit of demand, right? It's been getting some demand, but don't you think some breakouts are coming if this is breaking out? This isn't even the full travel. This is a part of the sector. This is that intermediary. It's like intermediary tech, right? It's not true tech. It's not the big mega cap tech, but it's helps facilitate it. It's that service side. And we talk about this a lot where these are all sort of sector dependent and we get leaders and laggers. And sometimes it's the smaller cap space. And we've been talking about small caps and value, right? That start to lead and then the rest catch up and trend together, right? If not, then these are all going to come down. Does it look like these are all coming down? It doesn't, right? It doesn't. We go with what we see. There's been a great trade so far. Really great trade so far. CWH, everyone's favorite meme ticker from here. Possible trend break up here. That would be a new chart up there. I'd be really looking to push out expirations if this is happening. This is hard to tell so far. I would say that's a very bullish move there. That's not a bearish candle there. That's a very bullish move. GPS, let's be honest. GPS probably going to be coming up here to 25, 26 pretty quick here. That's one that, you have to just sit in that position. There's no such thing as you can't chase momentum on the chart. And I talked about this the last 2 days on that chart, I think. And I actually, that bearish candle that you see in there, that red candle, talked about you got to be in the position on that chart. You can't guess it. Looks like you're going to be doing it today. Again, retail stores, right? That Macy's move we saw. Retail stores are hot. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter. There's no fundamental. Everyone loves Macy's, right? Is that what it is? You can't wait to go to the Gap and get a new Gap sweatshirt. How many Gap hats they sell this year? Who gives a shit, right? That's not what it's about. Well, I don't think, to be honest with you, I think, the Gap logo, it's just their name. I don't really like it. I'm not going to buy the ticker. Okay, that's fine. All right, give me 1 second, guys. So you guys mentioned in some of the favorites, Tesla, Zoom, X. Certainly. I am going to mention, NEO as well. I am going to mention from that EV move from yesterday, obviously EVs pulled back. From this EV move, of course, we talked about the possibility of either the historical retracement on this Tesla candle, or if this was a true breakdown, that you'd be coming down to the trend line. Now, this is sector-based, of course, so whether or not these are going to make moves or not are based on the sector as a whole, right? So, again, NEO has been trending to the upside. It's got the China, it's got, +1 for being China, +1 for being one of the most heavily traded tickers, these type of things, right? I do have some ideas of going over the weekend for tomorrow that you could do some short terms and put some risk on over the weekend. If this type of chart comes up into the supply, or any of the EVs, maybe some travel ideas as well, you could be putting some like February monthlies, some February monthlies on tomorrow, maybe even today, to push over the weekend. Maybe add a little bit of risk in there, because those are big. I mean, those are your 100% trades right there. You're in a trade for 2 hours, and then you push it over the weekend, and then you get 100%. Those are the risk kind of plays that have a high probability of, if we see some of these supply levels break, and retail is going to be wanting to go pick those up come the start of the next week, right? Even if nothing's happening in the market. Based on where we see some of these tickers, this chart's really far behind. Now, Tesla's not so much a retail-friendly zone, so probably not over here. This would be a trade that we would get on a break, right? We would get on a break because it's been consolidating for a while, right? And we sort of have this trend line in here now. It needs to break that trend line before you do anything, of course. But there are some ideas, again, on EVs getting some really short-term positions over the weekend. Same with travel. Are we getting to if it hasn't broken yet, it probably won't territory with F. Well, so F is bullish, so no. I know what you mean with if it hasn't broken, but there's nothing that it's testing. It's not testing anything to break. If there was some sort of resistance here, then sure. I think maybe you're just looking at this trend line here. This is not really, not a trend, right? Not a trend. There's nothing here that says that this chart needs to do anything right now. Look at the move it's made. No. I don't think there's anything you can do. There's literally, this would be like you'd have to really be lying to yourself in terms of a story and making up a lot of things to tell yourself that this is not a bullish chart, right? Rally, consolidation with a pullback with no consolidation, instant buy from it that was pretty much the exact same move in terms of a trend. This is a sharp angle to be on. This move here, some consolidation. A little bit of consolidation up here, but you're tightening again today. Do you think the move's going to be to the upside or downside? Based off this tightening, I don't think there's any way you could say that's to the downside. And if it is, guess what? You've got a support that you're holding consistently. You'll be able to see it. But very doubtful. And no, the idea of this since it hasn't done it yet, it probably won't. Those are on charts that are not already significantly bullish. And because we talk about it, if something trades flat, it's great for the upside, right? We say that more often than that other quote, right? The other quote is when the chart is not overly bullish and hasn't been rallying and trending to the upside. It's been stuck in a consolidation. Maybe it just came out of a consolidation and it's still trading on that same level. It popped right out of the converging trend lines, right? So in this market, certainly less of that. And almost always good for the upside. And more of just, you haven't consolidated shit over here, right? And I talked about these sort of V sort of moves here where you never consolidated any of this move. There's been zero consolidation. It's going to cause a larger consolidation later, right? And I kept saying it on these positions. Yeah, you're going to be rallying, but you have to consolidate it somewhere. Like at some point, you have to stop buying, you have to stop selling, and you just got to hang out for a moment, right? Tightening is a good way to do that. Large spread, tighten. Tightening is exactly what you want, and again, you're doing that today in the market anyway, right? There's getting a little bit of market flavor, right? So we'll see. We'll see. VIX moving? Probably, because it's exactly aligned with this candle here, so with the S&P. Again, you're going to be just trading back and forth. Most likely a flat day today, so not expecting much. But again, this does not stop us from trading our own velocity. We don't care. We use the market as a gauge. All of our charts pop off on days that, 420 alerts exactly. JJR 69 alerts today, there's probably going to be 69. These are the days where the market can just kind of dick around and do nothing, and we will have charts that just absolutely explode. This is where the strategy that we use, this is where we find alpha in the market, where the market can be flat and our charts generate velocity by themselves. They have technical breaks. Look at this chart. What are we even looking at here? This looks like some ARK ETF shit right here, right? Some bio, some God knows what story about how this is life-changing. Who cares? Look at the breakout. Take it. See ya. We did talk about this yesterday, but anyway. These are the kind of moves that we want, right? We just talked about retail stores. Market could be down, could be up. Who cares? We are taking the trades that offer us velocity, offer us chances. Look at Z up here. Whole new trade up there. Sono. Open continues, right? Do we care about the market? We do, but not in terms of our trades, right? We understand the dynamic difference between them. We love volatility. I hope the market goes down 5% and gives us a spot VIX of 40, and we can launch these charts off, right? That type of thing. That's a little far, but you know what I mean. I do want volatility. It certainly helps our positions. PRPL I was mentioning earlier, it's hard to tell what retail's doing over here. You're holding a very nice trend in here. It's hard to say if this is the next move. Possibly. I'm going to keep that in mind there. Keep that in mind. Love this chart. Let's see. Doing a little bit of a move through here. Let's see. Interesting. SPG continues again. REITs continue. If REITs are going, then I don't think you need to worry about much. PayPal, Square Inc. PayPal. Okay, this is probably important because I know some people are in this trade. PayPal comes in at about 195. That trend line, 195. Now, you break through that trend line and you have the next channel over here. You're going to make this move. If you break that 195, you are going to get up to that next channel. It's about 10% away. That's a great new opportunity. That might even be a short-term trade opportunity where you take some February monthlies and you expect a 10% move. You could get a little fruity in there. That might be some nice risk. That's an interesting trade to think about. Coming back into this trend, you're very close. We see this a lot where you've got these you have two channels, supply transposed over here after a consolidation, right? It moved its channel and it wants to come back. It wants to come back. MJ bouncing on the trend line here. I would say that's the buy. That's certainly the buy zone. I would be a buyer. I am a buyer. Think about the overall move, right? You have a hanging man, obviously. Hanging man. I posted all the pot stocks on the short-term bearish charts, but in terms of where you're buying, it's pretty clear you're holding that trend. I would say that's it. Take that. Some of these charts, you've got horizontals. It's a little easier to see. I think the MJ chart, though, in terms of being ETF less risk, you should be able to see that in terms of options as well. Those option charts are almost the same. Almost the same. In terms of tech, this is a pretty good move. Again, you can sort of see how you get exactly what's to be expected, right? And when everyone expects something to happen, they're going to trade that way accordingly. And so then it happens, right? It's like if you bet on something to happen, it's most likely going to happen. because everyone's going to bet on it. That looks like it. I do want to keep in mind again, the sort of put positions that are out there. They're not really hedges. They seem more like bets on market movements. And again, those have some high IVs up there. Russell rate on the trend line. Again, trading flat. Let's see if we can find some things that are coming through the woodwork. Again, I mentioned PayPal, Square Inc. Again, these two catch up. So you see where PayPal is, Square Inc.'s going to catch up. This also is a very similar situation where you get the trend line and further. Keep this in mind. Where does price want to go? It wants to go to where its supply is. That's a ways away. Yeah, Blink. I mean, let's be honest. It's pretty clear there. This is looking a lot like some of those other charts, right? Where you've got this trend line through here, right? And it's trading, instead of trading on a horizontal support and resistance, you got to turn your head a little, and you've got support and resistance here, and it's just trading back and forth. This is, I mean, that's long positions getting built, right? Long positions getting built. That's a great tightening candle. Very interesting candle there. Let's see. The charts from yesterday, of course, don't need to alert those. Already did, but TCOM continues. Again, this trip in Expedia move, I think, is very important to see and understand. VTR, REITs again. REITs, this bullishness coming from REITs again. This retracement factor, this idea of retracing for value. Value. People want to take the money that's on the table. If there's an expectation that the economy is going to recover, reinflation possible. Powell said inflation, I guess, enough yesterday. Didn't really say it in the way I wanted to hear it, but enough for the market to be like, okay, I don't care. Thank you, old man. All right, the boys want alerts. BLDP possible. Coming out of that bearish move from yesterday. I mean, I've alerted more sector wide. Most of those are from the last few days, so you just got to be getting into those positions, right? Let's see. Again, EVs will be tomorrow because you need confirmation from tomorrow as well, so I wouldn't be screwing around. Again, retail stores, all of them, whatever it is, right? Let's see, what can I give you guys? Again, retail stores was obvious. Just keep those in mind. Okay, let's see, China. Maybe China. Hey man, really wish you'd give me some better alerts. Yesterday, what was a great alert yesterday? CSPR, the mattress boys. Casper Sleep, you got the free pillow today, right? Hey man, get some alerts over here. Well, yesterday we bought on the trend, on the horizontal resistance break right here, right? We bought here, we did that live. I did make the same joke yesterday about getting a free pillow with the mattress. Today's a new day. Right. You're right. I forgot we're day traders here, right? We're day traders. I trade every day, man. That makes me a day trader. I don't care about 2 days in a row. That's a whole new day. SDC, nah, man. Nah, I alerted that yesterday. We can't use that one today. If it happens today, no. That doesn't count. I already forgot about yesterday. I sold my positions I buy it open, sell it close. No, no, no. I don't swing trades. No, no, no. This is not going to move. Guys, come on. This is not going to move. Come on. Come on. Come on. That's not going. You don't know. No, no, no. You can't alert the same ticker every day. It doesn't work like that. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's be real here. You can't tell people to watch and be ready for a move and then capture it. Because it's going to probably happen again and again. No, 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 no. It needs to be original. Can we get some original ideas here? I'm sick of making 100% on this move every other week. No. Get out of that one. I don't want to see any gains coming from there. Let's see. Come on, go back to Facebook, guys. Go back to Facebook. What's going next? What's going next today? Ooh, I like that candle right there. I like that candle. Yeah, Z is still going, yeah. That trend is no joke. The trend's no joke. I mean, you break out of think about it. You break out of the OG trend. I mean, what's going to happen, right? What is going to happen? I'm not sure. I don't know if you want to. There's a couple different ways we can do that. We're going to need to see what that candle sort of digests too. A couple ideas of some trends we can draw up there. Okay. Okay. Again, charts from yesterday. And again, I keep saying this, and I think it's probably something I should continue to mention. The newer charts continue to be the most bullish, right? We're coming from breakouts into better breakouts the next day. We're not in that phase where you get a breakout and then you got to wait a few days for it to consolidate that move now, and then you get the bounce. No, right now we're just going from every chart, right? So these most recent charts continue to offer great opportunities, and I'm not really sure what the difference is. Maybe people are reading charts a bit better. Everyone's seeing it. Everyone's seeing the clear break here, so everyone's getting involved. I mean, there's a lot of different things that could be happening. I don't think we need to know the answer. We don't need to know why something's happening, just that it is happening, right? We don't need to get all, woo-woo with it, right? Why is this happening? Maybe just the how and the when, right? We don't need to know why gravity exists. We just need to know how it works, right? Whoa, man, you're getting too real with me here, man. PRPL didn't really continue here, so I'm going to kind of take that off the scope. How many points are going to get put on this chart today? I'm trying to see where's that other trend line? Is it in here? That looks like a test the high kind of day. Really impressed by some of these reads. Really interesting. Really interesting. Okay, so continuing the inside day so far. Let's see. Probably come down into here by lunch. Not much going on in there. Not much going on in the market average. JDR mentions Twitter. Again, from yesterday. A great trade from yesterday. Depending on how you did this, you could have just pushed the position. You could have took profit, entered new contracts yesterday, today. There's probably a lot of different things you could do, right? Depending on how you want to manage the trade going forward. So I'm not going to say that one was better than the other. You certainly have a lot of upside. And again, it's sort of like that PayPal chart where you've got the next channel coming up here. Price is more likely than not, if it confirms this trend here today, just holds here like the rest of the market's sort of doing. You're going to climb back up here or go further, right? Which when you look at where price is, this trend is a little steep, right? It's a little steep up there, but it doesn't take away from, this angle here is really the whole market angle. This trend line here, most trend lines have this angle. So up here is a little extreme, but it doesn't change the fact that that's where your next supply level is, and you could just keep trading on the top of the trend line here. That's fine. But in terms of consolidations, more likely than not, price continues up and then consolidates back. So you do want to give yourself some room. Sun power as well. Getting solar. Expect solar. I showed you that tan chart earlier. That doji that we saw looked pretty good. Definitely an opportunity here if you're not in these positions. I'm pretty sure everyone and their mother got in over here on this day. We talked about it a lot. That ninth candle. Thoughts on LMND? There's nothing to see here, so I've got no clue. I know it was one of the new IPOs and everyone's looking at it, but nothing to see in here. This is too much consolidation. You need to break. It's tightening like the rest of the market today. So, you got the spread yesterday, tightening today. Maybe it makes a move, but none of these candles you can enter on. In terms of, you get this big level in here, a ton of supply in here, a bunch of people that don't know where price is going to go, right? This looks more, in terms of consolidation, this is a uncertainty consolidation. That's a lot of uncertainty in there. These candles sort of back and forth, whatever this is. This is clear, right? I think we did talk about it over here. You got a trend in here, clear break chances, clear breakout, continuation. Over here, no one knows right now. So you need clarity. We don't trade unless there's clarity. Definitely not going to jump in the ring over here when all it's got is a name right now. Lemonade. Let's see. Retail stores just continue. REITs continue. Again, those are the two from today. That's what we needed to watch. Now, this chart. That's some tightening in there. Still waiting on this to fully consolidate the move. This was a support buy down here, right? We talked about this down here. Now, for the next move, you're continuing to tighten here. You got a trend line through here, even though you get these big wicks through. Don't think you really need to mention them that much. Gonna keep an eye on Faye. Continue. PayPal at the trend line. Again, mentioned earlier, PayPal and Square Inc. looking very good today. Those trades, I think most people are in, but if you're not in, you've got the new opportunity up here. In terms of transitioning, you probably don't need to transition this position whatsoever. So, in terms of where you would have entered, there's really nothing to nothing to do there. So again, don't overmanage a trade if you don't need to. Unless you're just such short expiration, you need to add a new expiration on. I would not worry about strike prices there. AGTC continues. I know, guys. I really wish that guy would give me a better alert. Looks like a big pullback as soon as I say that, but that's up 26% today. Kind of looking silly. Open 11% so far today. All right, where's that trend line? We got to take this into consideration now. 40. I would say if you get up to 40 today, you're transitioning that position. I think there's a little, or maybe you're just adding on. Hard to say. You're just adding on most likely, right? You're following your rules. You're selling if price is rejected. Reverses, right? That's resistance. You get rejection at resistance, you take profit. If there's a reversal, you take profit. If price just breaks through here, then you're just adding on new positions. You're not taking profit on this whole move. So keep that in mind as well. You just got in yesterday. All you should be doing here is that if that trend line breaks, then it makes the chart even more bullish, so you're just adding on, right? And then if up here it reverses, then great, you're taking profit up there, right? We'll see how this goes. I mean, based on what we've seen before, man, it's hard to tell. The chart's too new to understand full supply and demand, right? I mean, there's just not enough. So we're going to be a little bit more sensitive on a new chart, right? A little bit more sensitive. Follow our rules a little bit more stricter. The TGI chart, again, this is where that the defend chart comes in, the ETF, right? See this? I mentioned this earlier. This is one of your alerts today, so keep that in the numbers. Add that to the 69. Tested it. This is one of those situations where you just melt through lunch, and then by close you're like, wow, I'm up 10% today on this chart? Huh, when did that happen? Didn't even remember. Again, short-term memory, those of you with bad memory, write it down on a sticky pad or something. Sticky note, put on the side of your monitor the charts that you need to be looking at so that you can capture them. If you got bad memory, you're going to have a hard time trading, but you can certainly give yourself notes. Maybe do it. Remember that movie? What is it called? The guy that gets tattoos all over his body because he got short-term memory. And maybe some of you get a tattoo on your arm that you need to buy a certain ticker. Memento. Yeah, that's a great movie. Memento. Get some tattoos. Okay, I should be buying this if it breaks 10. Okay, perfect. You wake up, you see the tattoo, you go, oh, okay. I'm buying value today. Think about it. Some of you might need that. CSPR continues, but again, like JJR said, that was an alert yesterday. There's no way you could have possibly bought that today if you didn't buy it yesterday, right? There's absolutely no way. There's no way that you could look at this candle and say, maybe I should buy that. It's okay. You don't want to make money? You don't need to. In terms of where this chart's going, you've broken out of these highs here, and I was talking about these levels yesterday. Now you're free reign. There's no supply up here whatsoever. You could go to 20 for all I know. So, see ya. Again, see these charts I keep pulling up? These are all aerospace and defense tickers. That aerospace and defense ETF, DFEN, okay? These charts are all breaking out. We're not making it up, right? See all these charts coming through? Yeah. What's your level on DFEN? It's right here, Spoon. 1868, 1853. It's a bit of a zone. It's just the high from the wick from the day before. From over here. See this? There's no supply in here whatsoever. This is it. This is it. You want to know what this move is here? Let me show you. 283% to retrace to February. It's a little bit more than that. A little bit more. 286. Excuse me. If you don't want to make 300% on the underlying, maybe like 5,000 on the options, you don't need to look at the chart. But if it's going to, if that breaks and it's going to retrace, I mean, okay. Okay, I'm not answering dumb questions today. I just posted the chart. Posted the chart 2 days ago. GES. Retail stores. And I love this move here. We talk about this move a lot. You're coming out of this trend. You get this little bit of a consolidation in here. Bit of an upside breakout, but it's not a true upside breakout, right? This kind of move. Retail store, again, retail stores today, of course, being one of the bigger things that we were watching. Guess, also one of the retail stores. Why? Because, again, it's sector-wide, right? It's not so much a specific, oh, did Guess sell some better women's shirts? Do their shirts fit better now? And based off of that, they're offering a new size. It's gonna go up. No, it's all flows. The flows are going into that sector. That's it. That's all that matters, right? This chart continues to look good. From down here, right? You're actually close to, again, you don't get rounded bottoms very often. You're pretty close. You could probably, it's pretty close. That candle kind of screws it up. It's kind of just a support bounce down here, but I would say otherwise, it's probably, price wants to come back up here, right? Price wants to come back up here. Again, another sort of value chart that needs a retrace here. So I'm going to keep watching that. Again, earnings just happened, so let's see. Yep. Bitcoin 48,000. Bitcoin 48,000. Halfway to 100,000. Halfway. Hey, what happened to... Where's McKeesus? He doesn't want to talk about TLRY today? Huh. That looks close. This consolidation happening in here. TWOU continues. This intermediary sort of tech that we talk about, this is obviously coming out of a big consolidation. I like that candle there so far. That looks like a push. Keep pushing that. Trying to CLDR is the other version of that, right? Trying to think. Peloton dojied on that trend line. Seems pretty decent, so it's certainly holding there. We'll see. Peloton's a watch until it breaks out. Once it breaks out, trend line needs to go to the upside more. Need to see some more. MRX certainly has a lot of points it can put on up here. It already tested with those wicks there. Now when it got through there, it didn't go further, but it's consolidated that move. It might be able to now, so keep an eye on that for sure. And again, we're trying to get short-term bio plays anyway, get some risk on. We haven't gotten any word from McKees on whether or not we should be taking profit on this, so could have took profit up here, which again would have been let's see. That would have been about 440%. 440% was not enough for McKees. He wants to stick. We're at 173, 174. That's pretty good still, but he was okay with taking off 300%. The 300% loss didn't worry him. The 1% loss on Tesla did, though. The 1% loss really beat him up. 300%, don't worry about it, he said. Don't worry about it. And he said, nah, man, don't worry about it. Phase 3, he says. All right. I mean, 400% is good to me. 420. Could have sold at 420. No. This is fine. Everything's fine. Just consolidating. All right. Diamond hands. I mean, we could have just took profit here and bought back in over here. But, take profit here, buy here. No? Okay. Hey, we're going with it. Whatever. It's fine. PRPL again. So I talked about it when it broke the trend. It broke back down from the trend, but here it goes. So again, from what I said to this open, we'll stick with what I said from open now and not take it back. This move here, expecting retail to make pushes such as this. When you think about where this is and how it's been trending this way, also getting squeezed further and further this way towards back to the channel, price wants to come back here, right? So keep this chart in mind because it's one of those charts that it's just bullish, right? It's just trending. And it's also giving you a lot of indication that it's going to come back into here, right? It's getting pushed further and further this way, right? The breaks are clear. Something to be a part of, right? Certainly something to be a part of, and you at least know you have buyers. Coming from like a retail perspective even. So I do like that chart a lot. I do like it. Since trading it over here, straightforward. When we traded it here, straightforward from over this break, and now we see it again here. These type of moves, when it's obvious, right? Now this morning, let's take a look. Now, it looked a little different when we saw it from here. You can't really see on the intraday chart, right? That's why the trend line's all the way up there. But certainly from the start, something that stood out. This chart might be reaching its target pretty soon. RDFN continues here. Again, REITs. And again, obviously, PayPal trend line was mentioned earlier. Keep it in mind. Home builders. Fiverr's trend line comes in at 311.25, 312. Interesting. Market still exactly where it was. Doji'd and across. See if value gets some some melt up during lunch. Just going to be trading on the trend line, right? Average is the average. Completely average. ZI now green. I was watching that earlier. Not much going on here, but it's tightening. And this wick from yesterday offered chances, so I'm guessing there was a lot of buying down there. Looking at the 5-minute chart on PayPal, can you really trust that? Looks like a sky slope, says Wiz. I don't know, man. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't think I really like the look of that either. I think I might exit. Yep. There we go. That's what transitioning looks like to me. I mean, can it really go any higher? Can it really? Let's just be honest. Did they do anything? They haven't offered anything new. Are they selling something? They don't even sell anything, right? Did they get more money? You know, are they charging higher fees? Come on, guys. Come on. Let's stop being ridiculous. Come on. Come on. It's already up. I mean, come on. It's already up 269% since COVID bottom. Can't possibly go any higher. Let's just be honest. I mean, what has changed since back over here in 2020? Nothing. There's nothing's changed. What is all this? Why is... Come on, guys. Based on the fundamentals... When a chart's not following the fundamentals, I know there's something wrong with it. This is not fundamental trading. That must mean it's not true. You ever heard of the Salem witch trials? Well, guess what? It's going to happen here. Getting some big points up here. Top of the list. Upwork continues as well. Again, we re-added on the Upwork position yesterday. There shouldn't have been any reason. So obviously we took profit here, entered here. The contracts did not even get close to breaking even on this candle yesterday. So should not have been a problem. Okay, what I need to see is, let's see. I would say X is ready. Bag holding X. Well, in terms of buying new X, if it breaks this level, then we're entering. But it looks like, based on this like accumulation here and holding, that you're getting a higher and higher probability. Higher and higher probability over here. And even if you entered here, again, like I talked about on the doji here, you are still up. I do like this consolidation. I mean, this chart is probably going to get posted, depending on if... Look at these. Oh, boy. Whoa, man. Hold on. That looks like a lot of converging supply there. A trend line, a horizontal. Oh, no. Could you imagine if price broke through here? Oh, my God. The fundamental people are going to go wild. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh no, the fundamental people in chat are going to go insane when the price breaks through there. That's not going to be good. Oh God. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow, the February 12th candle. That would be quite the shame if there's a big candle through there tomorrow. That would be really a shame, like today or tomorrow, because they're sort of both right there. You get converging supply here, trend line here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Who could have saw that one coming? Yikes. Sticky note it. Sticky note it. Somebody get the tattoo gun out. Tattoo it. Where's Pete when you need him? Pete. Pete, grab the tattoo gun. All right, man. You want to get it on your back? This run chart. Uh-oh. Oops. Let me just move this up. Yep, open coming up to that level that we just looked at. 40. Okay, let's take a look here. China, again. Hooyah. Oh no, man, you gave me this alert yesterday, not today. How many times have I said hooyah in the last week? What happened here, guys? Huh? You missed this one? You missed it? This is one you needed to be in from yesterday. Why? Because look at these 15-minute candles. Do these candles look any different than these ones? You let me know. Something look a little fishy here? Probably. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Getting very close up here. Oh no, guys, come on, stop it. Stop it. Smile Direct Club, SDC, stop it. Stop, stop, stop. It's at 420%. Stop it. Come on. It can't be this obvious. What's Fake Neo doing here? Fake Neo... Keep an eye on Fake Neo over here, NIU. That's a part of that sort of that car parts type of thing, right? Where all the different car things, for whatever reason, these are all tied together, right? And these are trending up, so that chart's actually a little behind. Right, when you look at some of these charts, that chart's a little behind these. TME? Oh no, man! Why did you give me this alert yesterday? Doesn't count today, right? If TME puts 10 points on today, 10% on today, doesn't count, right? This is very close. This is definitely a trade that I want over the weekend, right here. We talked about it yesterday. We've been talking about it for a few days now. The next break that's coming, 27 here on TME. We got this move, right? Consolidated. We're aware of it. We are aware of the supply in here. We traded from over here. Again, significant moves in here. Significant moves. 43% on the underlying. These contracts, by the way, like I said, this is a marginal trade. This is for like every 1%, you're getting like 25% on the options, right? These are significant moves because the way the trend was working, this is a tank. These type of moves, please do not type dumb things into chat when this puts a ton of points on. Like, really wish this guy would give me an alert here every now and then. This chart does not lie to you. This is not one of those charts where there might be some other thing going on behind the scenes that you don't know about. This chart will not kid you. This is all purely technical in this chart. If something's going to happen, it's going to happen. Trends are way too, they're just too trendy, right? It's just, look at this the connection of these prices in here, right? There's no lying to you on this chart. There's nothing you need to know. You don't need to call your cousin and be like, what do you think about this one? Your cousin's got some inside info. He read a bunch of headlines. No. LX continues from yesterday. I'm still waiting for like a move to maybe make some jokes about this one, but obviously a great trade from yesterday. We talked about it from the support, converging levels of supply. And there's a long way to go on this chart too. All right, you've got some supply over here. I think we did mention it yesterday, 12. We got to watch 12. But other than $12, let's actually put that in there because I do remember mentioning that. Put the $12 in there. Yandex, I mentioned yesterday, YNDX. It's making its move today. Why did we talk about it yesterday? Because it's got no supply above this level. That's why, right? So this chart here, I mean, should be pretty clear, right? The trend. Why is it okay to buy yesterday, right? Because you're breaking a level, right? You're breaking a level. It's no longer chasing momentum if you're breaking a level because, again, you've now turned a bunch of sellers into no longer being sellers and most likely buyers, right? Oh, look, we got an alert in the Discord from JJR. He says TME. I haven't looked at that chart in a little while. Let's take a look. Interesting. Okay. Just to bring it back to the market. Again, completely average, trading flat, nothing going on. Tech. Completely flat, dojied on the day. I like this candle in here, but again, nothing happening. Value. Melt up. Trendline melt. Looks like solar is going to go today. Clean energy is going to go today. Into tomorrow. Looks like it. Yeah, Pola, all of the fun ones should be on today into tomorrow. So what I mean by that is it may not fully break out today, but leading into tomorrow, it's going to it needs to make a decision on some of these. So for instance, this tightening, this can't get any tighter, right? Some of these, it needs to make a decision at this level to either break down or break out. What's it going to do? More likely than not, it's going to the upside, right? That run chart we looked at, it needs to either go to the upside or downside. Some of these are, again, you're on the verge of needing to make a move because of tightening, different trend ideas. These charts as a sector should be moving. That SunPower chart, right? Same idea. We get the break already. These sort of things should be today, tomorrow. So you want it over the weekend, which means you want to be in position now, right? OSTK continues 7%. Again, let's just be honest. This chart's been talked about enough. From right over here, we've talked about it. It's the chart that the candles fool you, right? This could be 10% here, but guess what? It's not. It's 100. Yup. That's 100%. That's 100%. That was $54 there. That's 108. It's really hard to look at this chart. It's actually mind-boggling to look at this chart. And to think that you were trading some dumb ticker that somebody on Reddit posted about. And to then, short-term memory, forget this trade. It doesn't even need to be mentioned every day. I bring it up once a day. But, again, this is where, in terms of opportunity cost, you are spending your time doing due diligence on God knows what. Trading, wasting money on God knows what. Trying to bottom fish. Be a bottom feeder. Buy something that's so down that, maybe I'll get maybe this will go up 30%. And maybe I can get this penny stock. Maybe this penny stock I'll be able to get 100% on. Maybe. I hope. And then you have a chart that is overwhelmingly obvious. We've talked about it since the break, right? And it's just one way. The consolidations are one way. The consolidations happen on levels that we've already seen for months, right? It's climbing a ladder. I don't know, guys. It is hard to look at the chart because it is a significant amount that it's moved, and it's very easy to get sort of thrown off by how much it's gone up. But guess what? The same thing happened when we were originally trading this from back last year. The same thing happened over here where people had a really hard time trading this chart because the way that it moved is it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense, and it's very easy to just continue to be behind this move. We started trading this back in April, and then we traded it again in May for the next move. So it was this move from this break to here. And so just to give you a perspective, this move from here to here is 300%. That right there is 300%. Does that look like 300%? No, it doesn't. And then from here, from May up to the high over here, almost 800%. So all in all, from the COVID bottom was look at that. Look at that. You see that number up there? Yeah, let's bring it back to a little bit more normal. Thousands. You know what happens on options? Yeah, disgusting things happen. Disgusting things happen again. If you log this chart, look at it on the log scale. This is the chart you need to look at and log because, again, look at this move over here. If you don't log this chart, it's almost impossible to look at this and use you can't even be rational, right? You can't be rational. Look at this from a log scale and don't kid yourself, right? Just don't kid yourself. You need to log it, put it on the weekly, and look at the chart like this and say, okay, what does this look like to me? Here you go. Let me help you out. Take this trend line. Oops, it's not going to let me do it, is it? Because it doesn't. Either way, the same trend line here. However you want to do it. See the log scale? We can drag it to however you want. However you want to do it. That's the same one as right there. $420% move. Is it going to happen? Yes, it's probably going to happen. Right? Again, you want to make some money? The charts are there, right? It's right in front of you. Cops are coming again. $300 by June. How about by next week? That's better? Okay. Same. Let's see. I know I keep saying REITs, but you guys know what I mean. REITs are pretty good. So 50% to retrace. 19% on Z? Nah. No, come on. Stop it. After that, no, it can't keep going. Stop. Wait a second. Hold on. Wait a second. You're telling me that we have broken? No. Come on, guys. I'm really sad that we don't have... Maybe you guys are in the other Discord. I'm not in the other Discord anymore. Where are the conversations that everyone freaked out when I put this target on the Z chart just 6 months ago? What do you mean 167 and 190 when the chart's at $60? What do you mean, man? That's crazy. You're out of your mind. I don't think I can trust you. I don't even know you. They say. What's the price right now? 200? Okay. Okay. Again, this is a weekly chart. Take a look. Hard to see with all the things, I know. See this trend? It never let you down. It never let you down. I know it's hard to see here. I'm sorry. Here's the trend right here. It never let you down. It never let you down. Never once. It reached the target. Good job, guys. But the fundamentals. $60 to 200? There's no way. Come on. I want to see those high wicks be broken, and I want to see another 5% or something put on. DXI, home builders again. We went long on home builders last week. The home builder charts are, of course, longer term. So again, I've talked about this before in length. These are not your like short-term trade sort of situations. The home builder charts are value oriented and also tied into spending, right? A lot of spending. So that's why you have these charts being longer term. Like the DXI chart, we had already entered the nail and ITB charts, right? From before, I put the DXI chart on. We already were in this trade. But I wanted to show you guys the length on these. This is a longer term. Like you're talking about quite some time. So keep this in mind. You're not, you shouldn't be over here thinking that, that, okay, maybe by next week I'll be out of this position. No. You just broke out of the all-time. See ya. So again, these other charts, right? Yes, the leverage charts is a little different, but we entered over here, right? We entered over here. We made the other trade from over here, and guess what? You got rejected, but it's clear when it's a rejection. We don't have the same supply anymore. The supply comes up here. Trend line. That's it. It's the only thing that is possible on this chart. And guess what? It's more likely that you're going to break through. Continue. So, again, those of you with short-term memory, these were big alerts, and some of the biggest trades we've had have been these weekend trades that we put on, where you put this trade on, and you've never had to get out of it. There's been nothing to do, and you're just gaining every single day on that chart. So, DBX is one, getting some flashing. This trend line over here, we've talked about this chart when it gets going. It's sort of like the SDC flavor where you get these breakouts come through. You can just be in this position, right? From support today or tomorrow or when the move comes, you will see it, right? The momentum will come. These are the kind of charts that volatility here is what you want. You find it. This is a volatile chart. It's a great trade. However you want to do this, it's really up to your own. All you need to know is this chart is going towards the upside. That's all you need to know, right? The timing does not need to be perfect on a chart like this because you will capture one way or the other. Wrap, we're going to be watching. Going to be watching that. Okay. Fiverr continues. What was that again? Oh yeah. 312. Getting pretty tight here on the doji for the day. It's pretty good. I would say just going to continue this trend during the lunch. Nothing to really see here. The only reason why any big move would come is just because low liquidity, right? Spreads might get wide because not much volume. Don't see anything else happening. Close, I don't even think, usually on a day like today, you'll hear me say something like, well, close will probably be interesting because not much trading happened today. There's probably going to be melt up, so probably a lot of action. I don't see anything whatsoever happening at close. Nothing. Unless something changes during lunch where it's no longer trending and melting, then no, nothing. Tomorrow is certainly the day. Because I think you're again, everyone's just continuing to push towards the upside, so no one's changing their position. If no one changed their positions over yesterday during this pullback and this pullback, then no one's doing shit today. If you're willing to hold through this, what are you going to do on a day that's flat? You don't care. Again, you don't have a garage sale 2 days in a row where you sell half the shit one day and half the shit the next day. You put it all on sale the same day. You don't sell over multiple different days, different items. You do it all at once. No one's going to now decide, well, oh, whoops, I forgot to sell something over here. I better sell it today after I'm up. I'm up 1% now today. I better sell it. That's not going to happen. It would be a different reason. That's for sure. Laser. Again, that like auto parts, car parts, all this. I mean, I don't even know what we call this sector anymore. It's like, it obviously has sector names, but they're all actually in different sectors. But they're all connected, same charts. So, TradingView wants to show notifications. No, thank you. Okay, let's bring it over to here. Europe. We got another little over half hour. Looks good over there. Treasury yields rising. Bitcoin continues. Dollars break even. Okay. Crude's break even. Okay. What do we got over here? Nothing fun on the active tickers. Again, too many penny stocks. Retail's back to just penny land. See ya. By the way, semis continuing. It's going to be a great trade through the weekend, I would say. Look at the video here again today. I mean, I would like to see this catch up, but don't know what it's going to take. It's just trying to I mean, I understand it's got a lot of consolidate in here, but it's interesting. TSM we continue. So I mean we're in the right semis. That's the important part. We are in the right trades. Brian says space is pushing all-time high. Obviously getting a lot of help. Arc related flows, all flows, right? This is all flows. Flows over fundamentals, right? Flows over fundamentals. It's an interesting move in here. In terms of how you take a trade like this, right? You can miss points, right? You can miss 10% in here. These candles, this is a 22% candle here. The spread on this candle, this is when you started to get all the flows, right? It's like 46%, right? You can miss a few percent on this chart. So if you want to wait for a breakout that's clear over here, right? You can of course see this trend line here, right? Get a trend line like this. That other wick, I wouldn't worry about it, right? You got a trend line through here. You can wait. You can actually just wait. If it breaks, great. At worst, it'll pull back down and guess what? You'll have to take some profit. Oh well. Some people were already in this trade. I'm not sure what happened to your position if you were in this trade. I was not in it, but would have been nice. It's volatile, right? Ton of volatility. Fiverr continues, of course. Again, most people got in over here on this trend line. This is 100% a transition point up at this trend line, so keep that in mind. And again, if you're missing some of these trades, I don't know. Got to find a way to push through some of that, I'm not sure part, where when it's starting, you're not sure. You see it, but you're not sure about putting the money on the line. You gotta just do it, right? And you gotta trust that you can get out of that position if something bad did happen, right? If something's going up, nothing bad is happening, right? People are buying it. Other people are buying it if the price is going up. Remember, this is built on other traders, right? You're not alone. Sometimes you're alone in the option chain, sure. There's like one other guy flashing the 69 bid, and you're like, okay, this is probably not the place to be. It's like walking through a dark alley. You're gonna walk on the main street or walk through the back alleys in the city. You're gonna take the street. But you're never alone most of the time, right? Everyone else is making the trade as well. And it's not like you're jumping into something that you're gonna get hurt on, right? Most of the time, you just gotta be able to. You just gotta make the trade, right? You just have to hit the button. And again, the best way to do it is if you have a problem with it, put the order in before. Put the order in beforehand. Just put the order in. If this level breaks, I'm a buyer, right? If you can answer questions like that, if this bounces on the support, I'm a buyer. Put the order in. That's it. And don't look at it. Find out that you got filled later. Put the stop in as well. That's it. You don't even need to look at it. If that's your problem, right? If the problem isn't so much seeing the chart and seeing the price move, it's just the confidence part, just put the orders in and let your broker do the rest, right? Put the limit orders in, put the stop in underneath it, done. Sleep through the open. Find out at lunch that you're up 100%, right? Then you can go, oh, I'm going to get out of this position. Well, at least you got out when you're 100% up and not sitting at zero. Let's see the sell side. APHA from yesterday, that bearish candle coming back down. Is this a relative reversal? Yes. Yes. Let's see. ARO. Everyone's favorite ARO bounced on the support here. This was a very interesting trade from yesterday, that's for sure. But this is going to continue, right? These trades are going to continue. This level of volatility. MJ, of course, we talked about, continue to break through. When you make a decision like this is, again, one of those ones where you make a significant amount of money, and then let's say you held, you still have made a significant amount of money. But a lot of the times you see that loss, and you're like, well, shit. So depending on if you're following rules or not, you will be able to make better decisions when this candle comes in and then you're trying to decide, well, what should I do from here? If you've made the right decisions beforehand, you no longer need to contest with some of these difficult decisions, right? Where if you held through this whole thing, now you're asking yourself, well, what should I do here? I'm just going to get out. It's like, well, then why didn't you just do it before? What did you wait for, right? That's where you need to know. You need to stay disciplined, right? And you do the same thing every time. You transition the same way every time. So then you don't need to put yourself in a difficult situation where you no longer really know and you're making decisions on emotional trades, right? Don't need to be putting yourself in any of those positions. See if I can find some other difficult charts. Again, trend line. If a trend line breaks, goodbye. You're out. EH still looks good. Save. I'm like save. I talked about it earlier. We follow our rules every time so that we don't put ourselves in a difficult decision. You don't need to make a decision here when you've already done what you're supposed to, right? It's not always going to work. It's not. Sometimes you're going to get screwed. But if you're consistent with enough trades, right? You're consistent with enough trades. It's a probability game. It's a probability game. You can lose 10% on 70% of your trades, but if you make 100% on 30% of them, you're going to be making 100% a year, right? Nothing really interesting on the sell side. Nothing really interesting on the sell side. Market just break even. Volatility doing nothing. All these charts look exactly the same. We are very much in sector mode right now. Very much in sector mode. Every mega cap does the same thing. Every intermediary tech does the same thing. Every travel chart does the same thing. Every EV does the same thing. Every REIT is trading to the upside. Every retail store is trading to the upside, right? Then they all look the same. They all look the same. So again, that's, you see one chart doing something and you miss it, well, the other chart's probably going to catch up. It's also lunch, remember? Lunch has started early today. Lunch started early today. We were already low volume. We're already swinging into lunch, right? Slow down. Start to remove accuracy. Spreads get wide, right? Spreads start getting a little wider. Let's see. So again, things that you're... this is the point where you just stop looking at charts basically for the day till close, I would say. Even right now. Anything you start to see now is going to be lunchtime pullbacks, the usual. you should have already made decisions on what you're going to be doing tomorrow based on different circumstances, whether we're having a bid Friday. You don't want to be buying Friday open. You do if you haven't bought already. But again, these decisions should be made. It's not like tomorrow, all of a sudden, one of these sectors is going to decide, you know what? I guess now we're bullish, right? I guess now all of a sudden, since it's Friday, it's the end of the week, I'll buy this stuff, right? We've been in a trend for 8 days. It's not, again, just think about where we are. It's not like all of a sudden the things, maybe we get a decision that we're not going to go to the upside. That would be a difference, and we'd be able to see it. But otherwise, things aren't all of a sudden going to change. And now, what a surprise! Now I can go buy this sector. No, this thing has already been decided. That's why I said you need to be capturing, right? You need to be capturing. Now, if you're not in a position, you took profit on a bunch of things. Now you have a bunch of cash. You can't be making a miracle happen, right? You can't force things. People are already in position. You're going to be buying from other people that are taking profits now, right? At different areas, right? That's like what happened here today. We're breaking even. People are just trading things back and forth. You continue to capture, but you got to be looking for things that are now breaking out, which is why I keep saying that the new charts that I'm posting, those new breakouts are charts that are offering actual points. And we keep seeing that, right? You're not going to be able to put all your money in there on just one new chart, right? It's going to take some time. You just gotta chill for right now, right? Especially during lunch here. Tomorrow, if you're not already in a bunch of positions, you're gonna have a hard time buying a bunch of stuff tomorrow to then push into next week. Doesn't mean you can't, but at no point should we ever just be hitting the buy all button unless it's obvious and it's there. Why today? Why tomorrow? Why not back here? Where were you then? And these type of things, again, you should always critique yourself on these type of things. It's like when I find that what I was seeing was correct, and then it's like, why didn't I react the way and usually figure out what exactly is the problem? That's like when I was just talking about earlier of, okay, what led to me missing some of these? Like, what made you lead to missing Z when we know it's trending? These type of things, and you start to figure out what exactly is the problem in terms of missing some of those points. Am I transitioning wrong? What am I doing here? It's like Upwork. I took profit on this candle here because it's a bearish candle, but what have I been telling you guys? One candle doesn't overtake the overall bias of the chart. What is the overall bias of the Upwork chart? It's extremely bullish. It's been trending to the upside. So what did I take profit on my position just because of one bearish candle for then? I knew it was going to close as a bearish hanging man candle, so I took profit on my position, and I had to rebuy the next day at a higher average, right? That was a mistake. Got confirmation of my mistake, and I tell you guys every day not to let one candle dictate your position, and you need another candle afterwards to confirm it, right? It's a good example. If the next candle was sold, then of course I would take profit off of the open if it was selling. But this is jumping the gun and you're just kind of making shit up, right? You're not following a discipline or rule set at all, right? So that's something I realized that, what I did is I sacrificed basically this move here turning into now this move here. I would have got another 15% or so. That's probably another 100% on the contracts. Yes, I got back in immediately the next day because I realized I made a mistake. I didn't let it stop me from getting back in. I sold this day and I got back in at a higher price. I didn't let it stop me, right? So maybe sometimes you're going to be able to realize your mistake quicker. That, okay, I sold yesterday. That was a mistake. I'm going to get back in immediately. A lot of times that happens where you sell and then you're worried about getting back in, right? But still, you got to realize that, okay, this is a trend. I'm not going to go against the trend, right? A good example on a chart like this, right? Now it's pretty damn hard to buy up here, right? It's pretty damn hard to buy up here, of course. And so, again, it's in terms of how you trade, you have to be capturing, right? And so, okay, well, maybe this chart's no longer something you can trade. People in it are having a great time. They can't wait to sell to someone that's willing to buy up here, right? Take profit, re-enter after the consolidation on a breakout, right? But again, things to think about. I don't know. Laser continues 5%. Now we're at what? 9%. Continues. Fake Neo again. That's stroking some vibes over here. OSTK continues. PRPL again. I do think you're gonna get sort of candle like this over here. Continues. If this breaks, this trend line here breaks, you're certainly gonna climb up. Zynga continues. Every time I look at this chart, it's getting further and further. TCS broke that trend line. I can't remember what I said yesterday. Do not remember. Really nice looking chart there. I was just showing this earlier. That's a beautiful candle there. Retail stores obviously continue. Solar, I do think is today, tomorrow. So keep that in mind again if you're looking to figure out what you're doing for tomorrow and into the next week. Like, what am I going to be having for positions in the next week? Keep those charts into mind, right? Solar does have some move still to make into next week. In terms of risk, I'm still waiting for when we're going to make the EV push again. You can tell, right? I didn't get excited over here. Can usually tell. Didn't get excited. In terms of Neo, we're going to keep pushing that. This is tightening, so tomorrow will be a decision. Tomorrow will be a decision there. Why is Apple so bearish? Because value is so bullish right now, right? So value right now is extremely bullish. And tech does not do well under low volatility. So if volatility is not really towards the upside, then it has a hard time doing well, which is why last year it did so well. Because COVID, we had so many questions about what was going to be happening. Made mega caps in big tech always has good earnings. And so with that idea, even though we don't talk about fundamentals too much, obviously with that idea that earnings are always going to be great on a major tech company, that's why they were trading to the upside so much, right? They led the way, and then as soon as value started to come back in, it hasn't really been able to make a move, right? Now, we expect tech to really be the tier one again of this year in terms of who puts the most points on. Mega caps and big tech are going to put the most points on, right? But as it stands right now, that's why I keep looking at this chart here. Value is the leader. Look at this chart. This is value, right? This is the small caps, which is tied more to the economy. This idea of reinflation and getting the economy going again. All of these charts are so far behind. I want you just to, I'm going to make a comparison here. Here's the Apple chart, right? Here's COVID bottom here, and here's how it's continuing. This was the all-time high of February. It retraced to its February high of that year in a few months. Now let's take a look at something like an airline. Here's an airline. This is the February high. So you saw the Apple high. It already doubled. It only took a few months to retrace to that February high. Here's American Airlines. It's still over 65% away from its February high of 2020. This is a value chart that has a lot more points to gain. So if you're an investor, you're a trader, and you're going to make a trade for the long term, do you want to buy the chart that still has about 65% to go back to last year's high of February? Or do you want to buy the chart that passed that high in a few months and look where it is now, right? This is the February high you just saw in that chart. So again, the difference here, this chart's 69% higher than the February high. That other chart is about 69% below still, and it's been that much time. So it's not so much that it's bearish. This chart's extremely bullish. But in terms of where the flows are and the money's going now, that demand now, it's on the value side for very obvious reasons, right? In terms of just, if I'm going to be in something and I'm going to capture points, I'm going to capture points through the thing that offers them. It's going to offer the most points right now. So You compare these, volatility is extremely low. You don't need to be in growth here. It can be a part of your portfolio, and I've been saying is that I expect that this is going to continue to trend to the upside. It's just consolidating right now. It's consolidating this move in here, right? Consolidating this move here because it never did. It's just, you got to look at it in a longer term, right? Longer term horizon. We're in saying it's bearish right now is a short term sort of situation. MRVL levels, Brian, the trend line here. I think what day did we talk about? I think it was like a few days ago. Maybe it was the doji we talked about. You're right on the trend line. In terms of horizontal, I guess this is a level here. I guess if it closed right here, it would be a level. You've got wick. Maybe we just draw it to draw it, but it's not very clear. I would say that all trend line, right? It's sort of consolidated out of the trend line a bit because it is consolidating, so it can stick out of the trend line a bit, right? This here, maybe it's a little bit further over here. It wants to break. Still very bullish, right? Again, semiconductors, right? It's a sector that they move together, right? This movement here is with the sector, right? Look how bullish this chart is. Now it hasn't made the move that we see on something like NVIDIA or something, right? It's not on the same move, but it's going to catch up. But this consolidated a lot longer, so you compare these charts, who's catching who? Who's converging to who here, right? You start to look at these charts. Who's converging to who? Right. You start to look at these charts, and you start to see some of the similarities, and also where the consolidations are happening, what the differences are, if it involves a foreign part of the sector, right? This is TSM, which is the same. It's the same sector, but it's not an American company. And so then you start to get into, oh, right, we have some of those additional bullish biases for Chinese companies. This is Taiwan, not specifically China. China says so, but these type of things, of course, start to then lead into, okay, so this chart does not get affected by any of the volatility of our market, right? But it does get all of the benefits of being a semiconductor in our market because it benefits from the intermediary tech. All of these other things, it doesn't get weighed down by the same growth idea. We don't even group this with growth. We don't even consider semiconductors growth, even though technically they are. And so you start to look through some of these things and, okay, who's catching who, right? I would say that this has now entered as consolidation. It could continue consolidating, but what's more likely? The upside. And you'll be able to see it once it breaks. Once it breaks, whether it broke over here or over here, the upside is certainly there to go break this high, right? It's going to continue this trend because that's what we know by technicals, whether it should be worth 45 or whether based on this trend it's going to be coming up here into like 65. Put another 10 points on. We're not ones to say. No one in here knows. I don't care what you do for work. We've got a lot of smart people in this group. I don't care. You don't know anything about how these businesses work or how the supply chains work or anything. You cannot give a true valuation of any of these companies. So that's why I make so much fun about fundamentals, other than the fact that they obviously are not helpful in trading right now. So technicals are the only thing. But it's also because you don't know jack shit about how these companies work, whether you think you're smart or not. Everyone here is pretty smart. But we're all going to have different opinions about how the company works, who they have for management, all these different things. That's why it doesn't matter, because they're just opinions. It's not how the market thinks. Market has an average opinion, but that doesn't change the way it's going to be traded. We trade on so many different ideas, right? We see one thing happen in the market, so we react because of it, not because of the fundamental behind the company, not because there's some thing going on in another country. There's all kinds of shit that happened in this country. Did that stop the stock market? Where's the fundamentals in that? Donald Trump was president. what the hell was going on in the market then, right? He would tweet and the market would move. Do we really think anything was fundamental at that point? Or were we just reacting to anything that happened all the time, right? Are we reactionary, or are we or are we doing Benjamin Graham's style of value investing and figuring out the worth of a company? Do we really think we're doing that? Are we all judging? Is this the valuation of a company, right? No. We're not projecting price. We're reacting and creating a price movement based on flows, money coming into the market, right? Why is Kathy Wood's ARC, right? Why is what are we going to use? We'll use ARC-Q. Why does the chart look like this? Why does the chart look like this? Flows. There's more money coming in every month to Kathy Wood's ARC ETF, and that's the reason why this keeps going up. Over here, she had about what? 5 billion? Now she's got 55 billion. That looks pretty much what the graph would look like if you did a percent change graph of if you had 5 billion every month. That's what this looks like to me. That's because that's all it is. Flows over fundamentals. That's all this is. It's flows. Money coming in every month. This has nothing to do with the companies within the ETF. Sure, these charts will look similar, be trending, but guess what? They don't look like this, because all this is here are flows. This is just money coming in. This is money consistently coming in, more and more at sometimes, and that's it, right? It's all flows. The money supply, the Fed is injecting 120 billion a month into the market. That's all the market is. Why is this trending up? Because the Fed is buying $120 billion worth of bonds every month. Treasuries and MBS, right? That's it, right? So again, we keep things simple. You know the reason. Everyone knows the reason. We don't need to make things up. See, not seeing any changes for lunch. I think we're going to certainly take a break earlier here today. In terms of CVE, there's all kinds of movement here, back and forth. Here's the open, coming back down. It's a good way to get the volatility going on a chart like that. You've certainly been just trending. So this is a added layer of volatility in this chart. See if we can find something similar. Besides the opens, these are just open candles. And again, what are these open candles reacting to? If you look at a chart like this, so CVE, this is an energy, this is oil and gas. What do energy tickers do? They react to the spot crude, spot natural gas, whatever it's tied to. It's reacting at open to the 24-hour market, right? Just like a gold ETF or gold equity is just reacting to the 24-hour gold price. All of that gold action during the non-market hours now needs to get digested in that very first opening candle on a chart. Same thing with energy, right? All of this is just reacting to spot crude. That's all these candles are. You go look at the relationship between those, you'll see it. That's all this is here. So what's this over here? There's a little bit of that involved here. And so then what is this? Well, this is digesting that move, consolidating it. What's the overall bias of this chart? Bullish. I would say that this is really just a continuation this way, because today is what? A break-even stop day from yesterday's move. I would say that this is certainly heading to the upside. So you look at a chart like that and you go, okay. Charts like these are usually, that's why I said that this is really easy to see. Trends are obvious because it's tied into larger macro trends that, you look at some of the energy stuff does not move in any sort of random way, right? It's pretty damn obvious. The move yesterday, like I said, energy got about 2% yesterday as an average. Of course, it's going to consolidate. It's going to stop some of that move. It's going to take a breather. Energy doesn't move that quick. AMKR, the other semi. The other semi. Is there a trend over here? Where's the trend? Maybe not. Is there a level up here? Let's see. AMKR, you've got. Maybe 22 and a half. Let's throw in 22 and a half. Get some better understanding here. Other than that, I don't really see much. So keep that in mind on that chart if you're digging around with that one. Also, if you want to get involved, above there certainly looks good. Let me put that to the half. I say let's based on what we see so far, we're just getting lunch pullbacks already, so we might as well take our own break as well, since we see that the market's signaling to us. I do see just dojis across the board. The one thing to watch for is if volatility for some reason started to creep up during lunch, signaling some sort of liquidity problem during lunch because of less volume. But otherwise, I don't see anything. Look at it. Nothing's happening. So you guys are going to be fine. Take a nap, drink some water, do some jumping jacks, take the dog for a walk. You know, the usual. So I'll see you guys at close. You need something, I'll be here. Let me know. A very good day so far. And again, I just want to point out, when the market is sort of flat and not doing much, those are usually the days that we take advantage. Today's a good example of a day that you likely needed to be in position from yesterday and buy on fear. So I do want to mention, if you did not buy on fear yesterday, you're probably having a bit of FOMO on a lot of these charts, because you probably looked to enter some of these charts today and you probably realize that the price is way too high and you can't even enter. That's because everyone bought on fear yesterday. So you got to be buying when it's a little scary out there on those pullbacks. So keep that in mind, because a day like today is one of the best days that we have, because market's not doing much, but our charts are. So we're getting a true level of alpha out of today comparatively to the market average, right? So keep that in mind. Maybe get a little mad about it, right? Get a little pissed about it for tomorrow. Maybe take advantage tomorrow. Have a little bit more confidence tomorrow. Maybe close. You put some risk on. Maybe you just need to make a little bit of a risky trade. Not something that's going to blow your account up, but maybe a trade that's going to offer something. So maybe think about some of these things. Come back with some questions, right? Something like that. Something to get the things going, get the blood going. I'll see you at close. If not, I'll see you in the morning. Have a good one, guys.